How about you, Bishop Danny Wanny? Are you feeling better?
I'm working on better, but you know what? I think we're all working on better.
Oh, of course. It's
I
on the
think
kingdom.
that's I think that's the goal. The goal is to always work on better.
Amen.
It, because if better is possible, then good is not enough.
That'll preach,
And
brother.
so and so I think part of the challenge that people have in life is that they've become content with good. And whenever you become content with good, you find yourself in a place where you put yourself out of reach for better. And you put yourself out of reach for better, Kathy, because you're not reaching for it because you've settled. And whenever you get to a place in life where you settle, no matter how good life is, it puts you, I personally believe that that place puts you in a position and a posture where you've become content, and you become stagnant. Now, let's be clear. There are moments where contentment is necessary, but stagnation is never good because stagnation says that growth has now become limited and or restricted. And whenever growth becomes limited and or restricted, it puts you in what I call a holding pattern where you're circling but you're not going anywhere. And we got to be careful when we get to a place of complacency where we're circling but we're not going anywhere. Ah, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the same fuel, the same energy, the same process that it takes for you to circle, you could utilize that and actually move forward. So the question that I have for us this morning is how many of us have allowed ourselves to be in a holding pattern whereby we're still burning fuel, we're still burning energy, we're still moving, but we're just going in circles and we're not really going anywhere. And when you begin to think about your perspective, when you begin to think about your life, when you begin to think about your business, when you begin to evaluate certain relationships, and what you will find in all of those things, business, life, relationships, is that if you are not moving forward, if you are not progressing, if you are not growing, then you are in a holding pattern. And when you are in a holding pattern, it eliminates your ability to accurately be able to pursue. You can't pursue in a holding pattern. You cannot pursue standing still. You cannot move forward and the car is in neutral. I don't care how much gas you burn by pressing on the pedal. I don't care how long you stay in that car. I don't know. I don't care how high that engine rev up. At the end of the day, if you stay in neutral, you won't go nowhere. And my question to you today is how many of us that's on this call right now that would be honest with themselves, as Coach Dan has to be honest with himself, that is stuck in neutral? How many of us are stuck in neutral? How many of us are hovering over in the sky, in the airplane? And guess what? You're not getting, because the other issue with a holding pattern is that you're not getting to your destination. You're in the air, you're in flight, you're circling though, you're burning fuel, you're wasting time, but you're not getting to your destination. These are things to make you go, hmm. And so then, what do we do? What do we do when we're caught in a holding pattern and we are not getting to our destination? what do we do? What is it that we do? Well, let's look at some of the reasons why we're in a holding pattern. What would cause a plane to take flight and not make it to its destination but get stuck in the air? Well, number one is a plane can be hijacked. A plane can be hijacked. And a plane can be hijacked by somebody that did not belong on the plane or decided they wanted to take over and control your flight. So here it is. And today it's a day of questions because I want you to be critically thinking about these things. So now here it is. Your plane has been, who or what has hijacked your plane? Who or what have you allowed to take over your flight? Who or what have you given permission to cause you to become stuck? Well, not even given permission, but you have allowed for you to become stuck and hinder your ability to move forward to get to your destination. Something that we got to consider, something that we must give our attention to. Because if we don't give our attention to it, then ultimately what will happen is that we will stay stuck in that position. And if you stay stuck in that position, you're going to wind up eventually by running out of fuel. And if you run out of fuel, the plane eventually is going to crash. So number one, you got to consider, have you been hijacked? The second thing that you must consider when you are in a holding pattern, another thing that will cause a plane to be in a holding pattern is the weather. The weather, and which is the conditions around that is circulating around the plane, either based on where they're going or based on where they came from. So you got to examine the conditions. You have to examine the conditions because sometimes the wrong conditions while taking flight while in flight can cause your vision to be distorted, or your vision to be blurred, or your vision to be impaired. How many of you who vision, which means now you got to focus on the storm, and instead of being able to focus on your destination. So here's another question. How many of you are in flight with blurred vision? How many of you are in flight with blurred vision? You're in flight, but you really don't know where you're going, why you're going, when you're going to get there. You're in flight, but your vision is blurred. You're up there, but you can't see. And because you can't see, you're going in circles. Because you can't see, you are in a holding pattern. Because you cannot see, you have found yourself stuck. Number one, you find yourself in a holding pattern because you've been hijacked. Number two, you find yourself in a holding pattern because of the conditions that are around you, and that is causing vision to be distorted. It's causing not only vision to be distorted, vision to be blurred, vision to be impaired. But the other thing that it's causing you to do is it's causing you to, you're in a holding pattern because you're trying to avoid the storm. Sometimes planes, where they leave is good, but where they going, the conditions is not safe. And it's not safe, not because of the destination, but because of the storm that you got to go through in order to get there. So a plane will wind up circling in order to hold the storm, in order to avoid the storm. Wow. Now this one here is big, y'all. This is big. because some of you are stuck because you don't want to deal with the conflict that is going to take to cause you to get unstuck. Some of you are in a holding pattern because you don't want to deal with the storm that's going to come when you decide that you no longer want to keep going in circles. My God, my God. And so some of you are in a storm because you are just avoiding. Some of you are in a holding pattern because you're literally avoiding the necessary process that is going to take in order for you to get to your final destination. So number one, we're in a holding pattern because something or someone has hijacked us. Number two, we're in a holding pattern because the weather conditions has distorted, impaired, or blurred our vision. Number three, we're in a holding pattern because we're seeking to avoid the storm, And so number four, we are in when we think about this, why are we in a holding pattern? Well, let me see how much time I got. I'm not going to give you number four. I'm going to tell you what normally happens to a plane when they've been in a holding pattern too long. What happens when you are in flight and you have been in a holding pattern too long, a decision is made to redirect the plane to go a different direction. Listen, in order for you to get out of the holding pattern, if you feel like you've been hijacked, if you feel like your vision has been distorted, impaired, or blurred, if you feel like that the storm that you're going to have to go through is too great of a risk or whatever for you to go through it in order to get to your destination, then the only alternative that you have is you have to redirect your flight pattern. You got to redirect the plane to go in a different direction. And so, listen, today was about you critically thinking about where you are. Now, the second part of this moment that we have together in the next 60 seconds is for you to begin to critically think what you're going to have to do to redirect, to get yourself moving. Because right now, we're in holding patterns, we're burning energy, we're losing time, and we're not going anywhere. And the truth is, you are the only one that can make a decision on what's going to happen to your flight next. You're the only one that can make a decision. Are you going to stay where you are and keep circling and keep orbiting until you run out of fuel and eventually crash? Or are you going to make a decision to begin to navigate the necessary storm to get to the final destination? Or are you going to make a decision to say, hey, I'm going to redirect. I'm going to go in a different direction in order to get to where I'm trying to go because I cannot stay stuck here any longer. Now, I don't really know where this came from this morning. A question was asked of me, am I feeling better? And I said I'm working on better, and that question prompted this discussion. It is not what I intended to do, but Kathy Watty, I hope it was something that was given, something that was said that will challenge us in our purpose, challenge us in our destiny, challenge us in our flight to begin to take control over our flight. Because if we don't take control over our flight, eventually that flight will take control over us. Until next time, as always, prosper.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you absolutely spoke to what we needed. Thank you for reminding us that good is the enemy of great. And so today is Tuesday. So that means that there is a 360 gathering meeting today. I don't know why my words escape me, but there will be a 360 Zoom Oh my goodness. Guys, if you have not been plugging in, you got to do that. If you're not part of the 360 community, you should strongly consider it, because we are getting filled with so much valuable health information. And so that happens tonight at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And it is Tuesday, so it is just a few days away from Saturday. So that means that we have our upcoming Friendsgiving. And guys, you got to go to Eventbrite. I'm actually going to send you that link to Eventbrite. I know it's a little difficult to find for me yesterday. And so I felt like I'll send that out to the masses there, so you guys at least have the link so you can begin using Eventbrite to invite your friends to the Friendsgiving Battle of the Blood Types. And so with that said,
Hey, Kathy Wacky.
Yes. Dan and Willie.
Well, you go first, Willie, and then I'll say my little 2 cents.
Hey, Kathy. Tomorrow is a boot camp from 1 to 6 p.m. And so we're having another boot camp from 1 to 6 p.m. at 405 East 35th Street. Hope to see everybody there.
Woo, woo. That's right. If you are a leader, if you want to be a leader, that's where you need to be. Man, I tell you, that is the hazard of living so far away. I would be there. So yes, that's going to be great. And Bishop, go ahead.
I was just simply going to say, when you mentioned Friendsgiving, I wanted to personally thank you, Kathy, for your donation for our Thanksgiving Day giveaway. And I wanted to say to our Kana family that there is still time to help Coach Dan, help some people. We definitely need some help. In order, we have a funder that's going to match our gifting, and we're 122 families short from being able to get another 200 families, and so funded. So if you guys can help me, again, it's $50 to help fund a family. If you can go to TEC Gives.org, that will be so much appreciative to help us reach our goal. Our ultimate goal this year is to feed no less than 600 families, and I can really use your help. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Dan. TECgives.org. I challenge everyone on this line to just sponsor one family. Just one. If everyone on this line sponsored one family, we would knock down another 35 families in one fell swoop. $50. You're going to spend that $50 somewhere that may not do as much good. Okay. And so think about the tithing of your money. That's what Adrian and I did. Is some of the money that we owed for our tithe that week, we went ahead and tied that to Dan. So I just challenge you guys, at least one family. So guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again, Dan. Thank you again, Willie, for the reminder of the announcement. And we will see you back here again tomorrow, having a kind of day. Bye for now.